As I look around the room, for me, there's people that I learn from a lot. Right? I mean, there's Derek. Derek's been writing about this stuff for a long time, and having Derek here is hugely important. Having Brian here, who I learned about a long time. Duncan has said to me he doesn't know if he belongs here, and I'm thinking, well, you do, in my opinion, because I've learned a lot from your work. Michael is here, we've had Lance here, we've had Joel here. The thing about it, all of these people are these people who have been taking risks their entire careers. And it's one thing that I do observe, and they've been taking risks of trying to be at the forefront of thinking about a tough topic and also trying to be mixing up with people who do a tough thing. So, Duncan's saying, well, I'm not really the implementer, I'm the observer of the implementers, I'm the influencer of the implementers, I'm the learner from them. And it's like, yeah, that's what we need to be. The person who can't really explain, but who's kind of at the forefront trying to make it happen. I think that this couple of days, I've learned from everyone else and a lot of different new faces. I mean, it isn't just been here. I've learned from Alan for a long time. I've learned from, just everybody, The thing that's amazing to me is some people have spoken and some people haven't. You had, Andrew's come all the way here and he kind of just was part of the group, and it's fantastic. And, helping each other along in processes. In the previous session, I found it a tough session, and partly because I really, really wanted us to get somewhere in the session. And I could see there were people helping me along moving on in the session. Now that's what we need to take out of the room. And we need to take out of the room a few things. The one thing is I don't think we have to agree on everything. I think it's fine if we have different language, and it's also fine if some of the things we mean behind the language are also different. I think we have to agree, though, that we need to help each other, because I think this is lonely, and I think it's difficult, and I think it's risky. And I think that there is strength in numbers, and there's strength in numbers that reflect themselves as being strong. So, when Natalia says it's helpful for me, if I can go and say there's people who think like me, one of the things that this is about is giving her a vehicle to be able to do that. Because if she comes back and says, I met with a bunch of people at Harvard, what her boss is going to say, well, those are academics and then kind of some ivory tower. And that's not the truth, right? If she comes back and she says there's a manifesto that's on the web, or there's the Cambridge conspiracy is on the web. And what this says is 6 or 7 principles, and that's kind of how I do my job, and that's what I've been trying to say. And there's people from 20 different organizations who've endorsed that those principles are the right principles to be after. That strengthens you. That strengthens all of us. And we need to be working towards that. I don't think it's a problem that we're only going to meet again in the spring, although I don't think we are only going to meet again in the spring, because some of us will be meeting at these different places. And we maybe need to think about our community as one that sometimes meets together en masse and sometimes meets together in 2s or 3s. We can support each other in 2s or 3s as well. But I do think that if we manage to come up with some intermediate products, and for me this manifesto is huge, because I think it's something that we can point to and we can say, I'm a part of that. And this is what we believe in that. I was speaking with Brian earlier, and he said, other movements haven't had that. Other groups haven't had that. Maybe this is a little bit the question of how do we relate to the group about thinking and working politically. Well, one of the reasons why we're asking that is because we're asking what are they about and who are they? And we need to be able to answer that question for ourselves now and then leave it to them to answer it for themselves. But I think that they've weakened themselves by not answering that question in the past. So that's why I think that we need to do it, and even that may be uncomfortable. And what I think Marta and I are going to do is we're going to take what you guys said there and we're going to put it in an email, and we're going to say to you, here's either the Harvard Square consensus, the Cambridge consensus, the Cambridge conspiracy, whatever the name is. Here are 5 or 6 principles. Are you okay if we put this out there? You can put your name on it, you can not put your name on it, you can whatever. But we need to have something that says this is kind of what we think about things. And partly because the 2015 agenda, post-2015 agenda is moving ahead, right? But when you're in the conversation, and Alan and I have been in those conversations, so have other people, and you say, here's what we propose, and you have other people saying, coming with the typical, yes, but that's craziness, let's just do the governance indicators. And what we're saying is, no, that's completely unacceptable. And what we're saying is that we have an alternative idea. There's something else out there. But I think, in those meetings you're on your own, when actually we're a much stronger community than we think we are. I don't hear many people talking about good, positive things happening in development. And for the last 2 days, that's kind of the only thing we spoke about. And we spoke about good, positive things happening, even though there was a sub-conversation about how damn hard it is to do anything. Like let's not forget that, right? That there are good things happening in the World Bank. There are good things happening in DFID. There are good things happening in a bunch of other bilaterals. There are good things happening in post-conflict places where nothing good should be happening, right? So partly about working in hard places and doing good things, working through organizations that don't want us to do good things, or apparently so, or make it at least very hard. They're still happening. And they're happening through our community, and we need to do a better job of communicating it. So one of the other things that I think we want to put on the agenda a little bit, and Duncan said I'm here because I'm a blogger, and that's not true, but there is something to it. People like Duncan, Tom Murphy, who's gone, people who communicate for a living, I think we should be engaging with them more and saying, how do we make sense of ourselves? How do we communicate ourselves in a stronger way to the world? How much can we say, can we market it? These guys, the first thing they say to me is, where did PDA come from? It's just terrible, And the only thing I can say is, I don't know that stuff, right? But you guys do, and maybe we can work together on these things. So for me, this has been a real privilege the last couple of days. I think we're tired. I think the momentum in the group is something that kind of we may be losing at the right time, because we can all go and kind of rest now, or get on an airplane and then rest. I don't know what you want to do. But I think these have been a special couple of days for me. I think we've communicated in honest ways, in frank ways about important things. But as in any good meeting, I think we raise more things than we address. And I think that's probably going to be the characteristic of our group for a period of time, partly because in my language, we're iterating, and we don't know what we're doing. And we're finding it out through kind of feeling around. And all of us are far too kind of, modest to ever say that we're there, or should I say real. We're never there, but we are learning and we are moving ahead, and it's partly because of the way that we engage together. So, thank you from me for spending your time here. Thank you for engaging so much, and even in tough times when there's been disagreement about your idea, thank you for sharing it anyway, and thank you for allowing that disagreement to become something productive and something that we move through and we work with. I've made new friends. I intend to go to the Philippines at some stage, only because, Jaime, I want to find out who your barber is. But everyone else, this has been fantastic, and I really appreciate everything. Please, let's keep in touch. Let's keep learning from each other. We may only meet again in the spring, but we can talk all the time.